Yes, indeed, Peter. We are here in Midrand, and you're quite correct in saying just after 4 o'clock we are going to be getting the technical report from the DG of the department. In fact, I'm actually looking at him, waiting, getting ready to give us that, and so that we can see what happened there and analyze. Definitely a few hours to go. At 6 o'clock we will be here listening. The anticipation, I think, across the country as well, and the hundreds and thousands of matriculants also just waiting for that midnight hour. Those that are not that fortunate to come here and be selected as the top 30 most performing students of the class of 2019. But obviously we will also find out later on in this evening how the various provinces performed in terms of that positioning, that all-ever rivalry between the province, friendly rivalry, I rather call it, between the province that just dictates who's been working, who needs to work better. So we will be speaking right now to KwaZulu-Natal MEC for Education, Mr. Motshekga, and he's just going to be telling us what is it that's happening there. Now, you'll remember that KwaZulu-Natal is the biggest province in terms of numbers. They bring in the numbers. So whatever happens there, should their performance increase or decrease, it will affect the national average. They have about, I was speaking to the MEC earlier, about 116,000 learners this year, candidates that set for the National Senior Certificate. And I'm just going to be asking him in 2019, he's just 6 months fresh in this position. He was appointed in May, so he's had 6 months to get the ball rolling and keep moving. We've seen him, he's been very busy. Whatever happens in that school, you'll see that statement that the MEC is rushing, then he's doing this. Quite a big province that he has to traverse and he has to control. So I'll just be speaking to MEC. MEC Motshekga, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, and thanks for having us. Compliments.
Compliments to you, MEC. MEC, just to get into it, I mean, you have the numbers, as we quite correctly said, but I also think quite importantly, you had some districts rather that you felt you were very uncomfortable with, and you went in hard there and you decided you were going to set up the various interventions. I know King Xeshwayo was one that you worried about, as well as Umlazi. Also quite concerning, considering that they fall under eThekwini, which is more urban. You're expecting better performance in terms of what's going on there in your province.
Well, as you correctly said, that KwaZulu-Natal commands the biggest number of learners who set for the National Senior Certificate in 2019. We had about 116 learners sitting for the matric, and obviously our performance will also impact severely on the national performance. We are hoping that we will have done well, and our hope basically is based on the interventions and the hard work that we put since we got assigned in this department. And when we got there, we had to analyze where we were performing badly as a province, but where we were also having some strengths and borrowing from those strengths to deploy such interventions in different districts, as it were. And that assessment assisted us to identify different areas of interventions, and we were able to have pointed interventions in different districts. KwaZulu-Natal, 70% of its area of our schools are in deep rural areas, and those are areas where we really don't have quality infrastructure, necessary resources, but also we struggle to keep the quality teachers which we need in those schools, because they will come there and next thing they request a transfer to urban areas, as it were. So we had really to do more in terms of investing our energy, our resources, and putting more teacher support programs in those districts, as it were. But also what was important, which I believe will be the game changer should we improve the result, was the ability to refocus the department to its core mandate, as it were. Because the department for some time had been a department that has been working in silos, this unit doing its own thing in corners and stuff like that. So we tried and to ensure that everything that we do is geared towards improving the conditions in the classroom. So every other thing that we needed to do, the litmus test for it to be endorsed, it had to be proven that it will improve the quality of teaching and learning in the classroom. So that was one of the interventions that we made. But secondly, was to ensure that we tighten and monitor our academic improvement plan, which we developed based on the 2018 matric result, to say what are gaps, what are areas of improvement. We had to put a strong monitoring team to ensure that there is teaching and learning that is taking place every day of schooling. Teachers are in class on time teaching as well as the learners, but also to ensure that the curriculum coverage is effectively covered from the start to the end.
And also, MEC, maybe just share with us, we did say that you're 6 months fresh into this job. What are your aspirations for this department? What projections do you have? You came in at 6th place last year, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, you have the highest number. To get to 1st place is going to take quite a lot of work. What are your projections? What are your aspirations for this department, for the learners of KwaZulu-Natal, for the next classes of your 2000s going forward?
Obviously, for 2019, we had set the target of 80%. Whether we have achieved that, we are yet to hear that, but we are hopeful. My aspiration, obviously, is to equalize the standard of learning between those of urban areas as well as in rural areas. I studied in a very deep rural area, and I know the difficulty of studying in those areas. And the deep rural areas of KwaZulu-Natal remain challenged in terms of infrastructure, in terms of investment, and the quality of education. So our focus, since we got into office and going forward, is really to improve the standard of learning in rural and township areas, so that learners there don't have a pressure to go to urban schools to get quality education. They must get it where they reside. So we'll be deploying more infrastructure and as well as resources, ICT and all of that, to ensure that the quality is heightened.
Thank you so much, MEC Motshekga. As you've heard there, that was the MEC for Education in KwaZulu-Natal, just basically stating the issues and the challenges that he finds himself with, considering that whatever happens in KwaZulu-Natal, whatever happened in KwaZulu-Natal in 2019, we're going to see it in today's results, be it we've gone up or be it the class of 2019 has gone down. KwaZulu-Natal carrying quite a weight on their shoulders in terms of that, but also saying that retaining teachers, because 70% of the province is very rural. And I'm just saying that the DG is getting ready for this technical briefing at 12 o'clock. So it's back to you, Peter, in studio.
Mahlako, thanks very much.